growing up, I had two older brothers. They're way older than me because my parents had children very young. They had kids at, I think my mom was 15.
Shout out Eric, man.
Yeah, my dad.
Shout out Eric Ingersoll, for real.
Yeah, my dad had kids at 16. Me and my dad are really, really close. Me and my mom, not so much, but me and my dad are very close. And he had kids really young. My dad is, like, one of those people that's just, like, he has such an unreal, like, lore. Like, his, like...
Some unreal stories
his childhood is,
ever
like,
heard
insane.
In my life.
His childhood is insane. And, like, he wasn't really... When he had kids, he knew, like, he wasn't really... It's sad to say it, but, like, he really knew, like, he wasn't given the tools he needed to succeed the way he possibly could have. Like, my dad is a really smart individual, but he kind of, like... He was a knucklehead when he was younger. So he had kids. He instantly, like, with becoming a father, I wasn't really around back then, but, like, from what I know and from what people have told me, like, my family members and my dad, like, he instantly switched his lifestyle over to, like, all right, I'm going to get my kids to have the best life that they possibly can. And with that being said, was not always the easiest thing in the world. Like, you know, we struggled with money. I mean, like, he had kids at 16 years old with no support whatsoever. My dad was the only, like, way he was paying his bills when he was younger. Like, that's just how it was in our family. And my mom really wasn't working. I mean, she was a teenager as well. But my dad, he ended up creating his own business. He did hardware floors and, like, carpentry, stuff like that. And, you know, he did that for a long time, ended up hurting his back, so he was out of commission for a while. And basically, like, he's had his struggles, but I know that, like, his goal always was to make us have a better life than he did. And he, growing up, like, didn't have the most money at all. Like, it was bad, a lot. But, my oldest brother... He ended up going to the Marines. We don't speak anymore just because of, like, family drama. My other brother, same thing. But growing up, like, I really had two older brothers who I was pretty close with. I had, like, my aunt. I had kind of, like, my family. But, like, as I got older, especially in high school, those connections kind of went away just because of, like, family drama and, like, just stuff of that nature. But my dad has always been the, like, number one family member to me. He's always been there for me. But we went through a lot together of, like, just nonsense with, like, my brothers being around, like, you know, alcoholics. Like, that just runs in my family. Like, I could just, like, there's so many stories, but, like, you know, struggling with drugs, alcohol, mental health struggles, like, the whole nine. So, like, growing up, I kind of was like, well, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but, like, it's not gonna be less. And I kind of had, instead of, like, role models, like, obviously my dad was a role model of mine of, like, how strong he is and how hard of a worker he is, but also just the people in my life growing up, I've always been like, I do not want to end up like you. And, like, it is sad to say that, but, like, when you're born with, like we're obviously, like, we're dealt cards, everybody in life. Yeah. And you kind of
play with the ones that you're given,
you gotta deal with the ones you're given. Yep. So, like, it's either you can choose to either sit there and be mad at the world and go down the same path that everybody before you has gone down. And, like, it's not so much, like, a bad thing. Like, I was supposed to go down that path. Like, that's what was supposed to happen to me. Like, I wasn't supposed to be like, nah, like, let's switch it up.
There's a certain phrase that our guy, Coach Craig, uses, sit in the shit.
Sit in the shit.
You could either sit in the shit or you could work your way out of it.
Yeah, and, like, you have two options there. You could sit in the shit. You can do what you're supposed to be doing and be ordinary and, like, just go down the same path that everybody has before you. And, like, they weren't really given, like, I wasn't given much of an option, neither my parents before me, everybody in my family. Like, they weren't giving they weren't supposed to succeed. But in my eyes, when I was younger, I don't know, I just had something else in my brain that was just like, I do not want to do this, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to get out of the circumstances I'm in. And, like, obviously, it hasn't been the easiest, just because it's like, you know, like you see people your age and like it's not really a bad thing it's a great thing for them, but like, you know, the money that they make from working, like I worked in high school, the money I worked for went to like bills, gas, food,
like
all
like
that.
actual like responsible.
Yeah,
Like you're
and
not just gonna go to the mall and just spend the whole.
No, yeah. And to this day, like even growing up, like I've always been, I kind of took on a big role of being like the responsible like adult at a very young age. So I kind of, in my mind, like I was very conscious of our situation, and I did whatever I could to try to help. And I feel like I was kind of always like walking on eggshells and like trying like my hardest. Like, okay, I know my brain right now, like what do I really want this week? Because like I'm not gonna be able to go to dinner with my friends or like go to the mall with my friends like every day. Like I have to make sure that we're spending, like I was kind of like making sure my parents,
it was like budgeting to an extent.
Yeah,
like,
I budgeted for my parents, for my brothers, like for everybody, and like it literally to this day like gives me anxiety to spend money on stuff that's like not important, because I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know, it's just in my brain like that. And I just kind of took on adult responsibilities, and that's just one of them, but at a very young age.